Greetings, this is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the lion's voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use I as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the lion's voice.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up lamb's voice. Now put it, I jolly for say that.
Greetings, this is Shiloh. The time has come for the lions to tell their own story. See? This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right here, sir. Shiloh said that. Are you satisfied? Wipe those tears from your eyes. I'm all alone, still you thought I was telling a lie. This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right here, sir.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like I do. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion forward for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Empress Menen, and a young scientist. You're wrong. Universally unfold, be told. Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yo, blazing fire, yeah man, this is Racindio out of Belize, and the time has come for the lions to tell our own story, right? Yeah man, we blaze fire, burning the wicked and the dirty vampire. Yeah man, Racindio, say that, blazing fire, lion boy.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes, wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice, because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.
Yeah, Rastafari, Empress Sistah the first. The people go Empress Menen. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn
streets them flood. But when the hurricane blow down their wall, I'll be by your side and me nah budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. Your love was a lifeline. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. That light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start mal, when they see their city streets them flood, when the hurricane blow down our wall, I'll be by your side and me not budge. Think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. Your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine and unto I. Your love was a lifeline. They say hurt people, maybe that's why Babylon them so evil. Maybe Babylon abused as a child.
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Menen. My name is Kwasi Banso, aka the Charles March Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to Lion Talk Live and welcome to the Lion Voice Network, where the lionesses are telling their own story. We are getting ready to conclude our month of Women's History programming. How do I them love it so far? Let us know in the comment section if you love it. This is the, I think, second year that we did all Sistering all month of March. Today is April 1st, and we are riding high frequency into our Empress Menen panel on Friday. So make sure Friday you mark your calendar. Big things are going on the Lion Voice Network. I'm not even going to keep any suspense. I'm going to drop the panel right from the beginning. We are going to let the item know Friday, April 3rd, Empress Menen Day. We have a massive panel. One of my favorite panelists. I talk to at this point hundreds of ones on the platform, and you'll get biased after a while. Yeah, everybody have them favorites. We're human beings. I'm not perfect, okay? But one of my favorite panelists, Dr. Asantewa Opong Wade, and those who have seen The Good Doctor will know what I'm talking about. She paints pictures, the storytelling. Every Empress Menen Day we have a draw for her if she's available. And give thanks she was available, so she'll be joining us Friday. The history is going to be top tier. But we also have a matriarch of great esteem, Empress Askale, will be calling. I believe she's in Ethiopia, so she will be up in other hours, but she has committed to come forward and share her sound, Empress Menen calendar. We are going to do Great Things Friday. We have met Empress Carla. If you didn't see that, the episode with Empress Carla, you can check it out. I think over 400 of the item have tuned in so far. So big up everyone who saw the interview with Empress Carla, Mama Sila. But Empress Carla will be coming forward. Empress Jalila. The item saw that one. That episode is also doing well out of Trinidad Bobo Shanti House. She'll be representing Empress Menen Rising. Empress Carla will be representing Empress Menen Asfa Collective. And finally, we have Cheryl Murray Powell Esquire, the international president of the Ethiopian World Federation, also president of Local 12, which I am a proud member. So I president will be here representing on behalf of the Black peoples of the world. And the topic is going to be this Armageddon time. What is the role of the Rastafari woman in this time of war, global war, uncertainty? We're headed toward food shortages. We're headed toward fuel shortages. What is the role? We want to hear from some of our wise sistren, what their role is in these Armageddon times. And then we also want to hear and contrast, because remember, Empress Menen trod forward in a time of war as well during the Second World War. We have said it here many times, let them know that World War III has already begun. And I think we've been proven correct. We see multiple countries now have entered into this Iran war. We see that the Yemen, which is part of the ancient kingdom of Saba, or Sheba, or Ethiopia during the time of Makeda, Yemen was part of the empire. And if you look at the Yemenis, they look Ethiopian, you know, see them people both sides of the Red Sea. Very melanated people, you know. Not the ones they show on TV, but the ones that are there. Look online and you will see that they have joined the war with Iran. Hezbollah, which is in Lebanon, has joined the war with Iran. On the other side, America, Israel, we see Spain say they can't use our airspace. We see Italy say you cannot use our airspace. It's an illegal war. You know, everything Trump says he's going to pull out of NATO. This is a world historic event that we have the opportunity to witness as a global Rastafari family. And we're watching the global chessboard play out. But again, we want to know from our queens, what is the role of the Rastafari woman right now in this time? How should Rastafari sistren be preparing? And then also, what are the lessons that we can learn from Empress Menen, who rallied against war? Famous speech to the women of the world, you know, about the detrimental impact of war. So we're going to be glorifying Empress Menen on the panel Friday. But during the day, that's going to be in the evening, 8 p.m. During the daytime, though, we have one of the rising reggae dancehall sensation, Jalifa. And, you know, we interviewed her for our Lion Talk show. And I think we're still very early. She's in the early rise of her ascendancy in terms of musically. And, you know, she's one of the artists where we say she's one of I artists on this platform, you know. We love Jalifa. We're going to be pushing her because she's so positive, you know. Big up her brother too. They write together, co-write. Family, our sister manages our strong Bobo Shanti family. You know, their father is a Bobo Shanti legend in Trinidad too. So we love the vibration, you know, Rastafari family. She's part of I and I. So we're not gonna stop rallying to lift up Jalifa, and we're gonna ask her the same thing, because this content that we're doing, we want it to be relevant to this time that we're living in. We don't want to just be doing content to do content. Rastafari is ever living, ever faithful, ever sure. That means everything that we do have purpose. Everything that we do is our live. Is part of, when we use terms like livity, everything has to be in synchronicity. So yes, we are building a world-class media operation here at the Lion Voice Network. But if it's not helping us to progress on our journey for this Armageddon, if it's not helping for us as Rastafari to meet the demand of this time that we're living in right now, there's a demand right now. The people are looking for I and I to rise, and not to rise and to be anybody's savior, but to rise and be I and I self, to demonstrate what collective security looks like, and to build an alternative to Babylon, not just to burn down Babylon, but to build an alternative. And, as a married man, I can tell you, and most married men will tell you this, you really can't build nothing without sistering. You know what I mean? A queen is essential. That's why when you read the autobiography, His Majesty says, after he was in Harar and him get Harar to a certain standard, he said it was time for him to take on to himself a queen. And this is a young teenager Majesty, 18, 19 years old. And him say, I need a wife now because I have my finance stable. I'm running the province, and let me get a wife. And that is when you see the acceleration into Ras, into Migos, into the Nagas. So that feminine principle, the divine principle, that balance that was demonstrated at the coronation is so essential. So this is what, we're going to seal up this Empress Menen day with, that kind of vibration in terms of the sistering and all of those things. That I sistering Zella, big up yourself. Okay, you're in the UK. Okay, big up Ghana family. Big up Russia more, all of the family them all over. Big up all of the UK family. I know it's way up in the hours, so give thanks. But we know this is a global show, where the global family comes together. So we're not surprised. But yes, forward to the vision. We are building something special, and getting all of these sistering to give us this guidance. It's going to help us to structure how we move forward in the next few months. We're still at the beginning, as I said, of world-changing events. I spoke about it here. A lot of ones are now reaching out to I and say, Ras, you've been saying this for so long, because I've been talking about the shipping. You see, shipping become now global headlines, the Straits of Hormuz, every day, that's all you hear about. We were talking about this from last year, family. We have it, as the young people say, we have the receipts. You can go forward into Lion Voice when we do the geopolitics episodes. We were talking about this very time, and we're still in the early days of this time. Global, right now it's $4 a gallon in America for gas. It's going to continue to rise as the crisis intensifies. America getting ready to put soldiers on the ground. There's most likely going to be heavy casualties. It's going to be pandemonium in terms of the global food supply chain. So we are just saying to the family, make sure we're planting food, make sure we're reaching out and touching each other, reasoning with our neighbors, building those networks. This is a time to build community, because no individual can survive this by themselves, So collective security is the only way forward right now, and your livity will be your savior. The way you live is going to be your protection and your shield. So just make sure I continue to full up within that strength. Before we bring forward today's guest we're going to be talking to is a martial artist. She's a poet, and she deals with self-defense for women and children. So we're going to be talking about some of our most vulnerable elements of society. And Ethiopia remembers a warrior culture. So we are advocating for people to be ready. Martial arts is a great way to keep physically fit. So we're going to talk to her about that. She's an elder. So, you know what I mean? We're going to talk about how she's able to keep her fitness and these good habits. So tonight's episode is going to be a nice one. I want to big up Sister Aisha again, out of Jamaica, who helped to align this reasoning. Big up yourself, Sister Aisha, for the kindness and gratitude. And, tonight is going to be one of those episodes. Also, before we bring forward the guests, let me just take the chance to big up the greatest online community on the planet. If you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride, 66,000 plus at this time, and we're headed up, I think we're 66,300 plus. Big up to everyone. I just heard from Empress Carla that she got a cash app after the episode. So the item know the vision that we have here on the channel. The vision is that we use this YouTube platform to put capital or money in the hands of the workers, the people who we interview. So when we bring forward guests, we ask the members of the Lion Pride, show them some love. And the sister said that she did get a cash app. Someone sent her some strength. So that made our day, because it shows that even though it might not be 50,000 people linking her, some people out there are getting the message. This is how we're going to exercise power. We see how power is exercised on the geopolitical chessboard. As the working class, middle class, some of us may be even upper middle class, but most of us are not wealthy. So from working class comes straight up, the power that we have is in the collective. That has always been the power of the people. That is why I took time from what I was doing on the front line to build a platform, because I realized that this is where we lack. We lack the collective, the audience, that is the like-minded people coming together to execute the vision of Rastafari. We have a great vision, family, but the youths, them are not gravitating to the vision because they don't see the physical, the touchable, tangible part of the livity. They see Rastafari, they're seeing poverty, they're seeing their parents struggling. They see, yes, their parents have joy and thing, but they see other people doing other things, and it's an easier route. So if we want to keep our children in this movement, we have to start to build. We have to build the economic foundation. We have to be able to employ our children. And the way that we employ our children is building business. And the businesses that we build should reflect our purpose. They should reflect what we were put on earth to do. There's monetization in every purpose that you have, that you can think. And the fact that the eye is your unique competitive advantage. So this is the concept, is that we bring the guests on the platform, and you love them, you give them a $10, you buy their product, you know what I mean, $5, whatever you can afford. We are going to try to be very intentional about putting their contact in the description. So if you watch on the replay, most people watch on the replay, you can go to their link and send them, link with them directly. We're not handling any of the funds. We don't want to touch it. Send it direct. Our strength come from our Lion Pride on Patreon. And those are the ones who want to strengthen the platform itself. And big up to those ones. 46 Fire Angels. We still can't hit 50. I don't know what is like. We plateau. We get up to 50. I think 47 is the highest we've gotten. And then, of course, we lose people as economics situation changes. So we definitely need more people to support the platform. But I want the guests to see that strength, because if we have 50,000 people, we have 66,000 subscribers. If 50,000 of those gave $10 to a guest, that guest would wake up with 500,000 US dollars in their account. What could they do with that money? They can plan out a year, 2 year budget for their business, and be able to scale, maybe hire a staff. This is how we're going to free our people, because they can hire their brethren or sister with a skill. And this is how we free ourselves from the system. And if every time someone comes on the platform, we are capitalizing them, then the lion pride becomes a force. They can't ignore us in terms of change. We are able to shape the Rastafari future that we want to see, because we're empowering the people who will carry out the work. Remember, there's no sky god. There's no one coming where you don't know about this person, and nobody don't know this person to come do this work. It's all people where we know that's doing the work. They just need the strength, and we're taking the strength from the local. Now that we have internet, and we're doing the global. So big up Empress Menen Afsa Collective, getting that strength. And we hope tonight we're going to ask Sistah Cherry Natural to drop her contact and link, and we pray that one's support, whatever it is that she have going on, we pray that one support her works. We're creating a culture. Big up all of the people them who have been with us since under 1,000 subscribers, and seeing the growth and the development. Big up the item. The item are special. The item saw it early, but we're building something unique. Just like these are unforgettable, unprecedented times. This is unprecedented times for Rastafari, independent, non-aligned media. We're witnessing the birth of a whole ecosystem, whole different way of I communicating, of I building up our infrastructure. It's here and it's happening. So big up. We have a big April plan, some big guests this month. This month is gonna be special. May, same thing. Almost every day I get phone calls from different ones looking for interviews and things. We reached that level now where we have penetrated deeply into the Rastafari community in particular, not so much the Pan-African community yet, but we're going to start drawing for some big Pan-African guests as well. But in the Rastafari community, we definitely have reached a level of penetration, and we give thanks for that. So continue to share out the content. And again, let the ones them know, and put aside a budget, just like you have a partner draw or a susu. Put aside a little budget for the Lion Voice Network, for someone you see, because if you see someone, and even if it's just once a month, someone you hear someone's story that resonate with you, just make it a principle. I'm going to pour forward into the community. This is how we're going to grow the community. If we don't invest, there's no way we're going to receive any reparation. No way we're going to be able to realize repatriation. These are things that no one is going to come do for us. Yes, there will be a time when the government to government, but it will be because the motion that we have started, that we have shown, the desire that we have executed, is pushing them to support what is already inevitable, because it's not from them. It comes from the Most High, and the Most High live within I and I. So this repatriation going to start from I and I, self-funded, collective, the movement rising. We want to see some health center. There was a health center in Singapore. If you haven't seen Singapore, if you're not familiar, Singapore has integrated nature into their cities. They have all kind of nature in their cities. You can see river otters, monitor lizards, all type of birds, everything in Singapore. And they have a video, and I might do a reaction video to it at some point when we get forward to doing reaction videos. They have a hospital where the hospital is like a nature park. You know what I mean? River like water thing going through the hospital, trees and birds, and people go to the hospital who are not sick to nature watch. That's how the hospital is set in Singapore. And I'm watching this and I'm saying, this is what Rastafari is here to build. This is Zion, you know what I mean? Because people going, they're sick, they put them around nature because they say this helps to facilitate the healing. Fresh air, the plants are giving the whole heap of oxygen, you know, it's an oxygenated environment, so it makes sense. But these are the concept and the principles that I and I as Rastafari should be manifesting in the earth right now. You know what I mean? The hospitals, the health centers that are not based on a Eurocentric vibration, but they're based on our Asian culture and what we know, herbal healing institutes. Big up Honorable Priest Kailash, you know, who has built that. So, you know, we have models out there, but we need more, and we need them on the continent. So that is really what we are looking to do here with the Lion Voice Network, is to be a part of that uprising, a part of that revolution, and make it manifest. Also, we will be traveling this month, April. We will be traveling. We'll announce that shortly, but we are traveling, so you'll see some more vlogging going on while we're on the road. We'll be capturing a big event that's taking place. It's in the tropics, so look out for that. We'll announce that shortly. Lion Voice on the move. I know a lot of the item like when we do the vlogs, and we are on the move, you know what I mean? So we definitely do give thanks to everyone who has been supporting over the years, you know what I mean? Big up Akashic Records, bless up one and all, Lion Pride and Patreon. And let me also just apologize, we didn't get to do our town hall meeting for March. The schedule was all over the place and we never get to manifest that work. We will make sure that we do have one in April, and I'm getting ready to upload a special episode for the Lion Pride on Patreon. I was invited by the international president of the Ethiopian World Federation to attend a Battle of Adwa dinner and gala being put on by the Royal Ethiopian Trust. Prince Ermias, I had a chance to speak with Prince Ermias, His Imperial Highness, and it was a joy. So we're going to put up that episode. The Royal Ethiopian Trust, they are the entity that supports, it's a 501c3, they support the Ethiopian Crown Council, and they're on a mission to return Ethiopian artifacts forward to Ethiopia. And they found a hairpin that belonged to Emperor Theodorus's wife, and they are getting that return. So we have that footage of the presentation that took place at Catholic University, and we have some footage from the actual gala itself, and that will be available only to the Lion Pride on Patreon. It was a private event, so we wouldn't release it publicly. But these are some of the benefits of being part of the inner circle of the channel. We get to share these moments, you know what I mean? I will share the clip. I interviewed His Imperial Highness Prince Ermias very briefly. I'll share that to the main channel. But yes, we will be uploading that for the Lion Pride on Patreon tomorrow. So look out for that. And that, you know, we didn't get the town hall meeting, but trust me, things are popping up because of the support that we get from the IDEM for the channel. You know what I mean? As I say, every day calls are coming in from different sides. Remember, we're global, so different races. Can you reason with this person? This person we need for reason with. This person is getting Aisha, we need, you know. And then we are also going to be bringing a lot of Ethiopian elders, because I was able to meet a lot of Ethiopian elders at this Battle of Adwa Gala. So we're going to start bringing some of the Ethiopian elders who knew His Majesty to the platform so they can talk about their experience getting their diploma from His Majesty, what Ethiopia was like during the reign of His Majesty, what their critique of His Majesty is, because we don't water down nothing on this platform. We love to hear the criticisms of His Majesty as well, so we can understand the different perspectives. It don't change I and I. We know who the Almighty is, but we're not blind, we're not cultists, so we're not just blindly follow anything. You know what I mean? We love to know all of the different perspectives, and we let time and knowledge and wisdom and understanding sort it out. You know what I mean? So stay tuned for that. Big things happening on the channel. We're gonna get to our guests very shortly. I want to also just big up all of the Ubuntu Lion Pride. These are the brethren them who do the one-time attribution, or there's $100, give a one-time attribution and you become an Ubuntu Lion Pride member. And I want to big up all of those ones who have been supporting, and a lot of the Ubuntu Lion Pride brethren, they link me and they will give a next strength, whenever they get any strength, and they just want to support. So big up all of those ones, because this work is not easy, family. We still have a full-time job, and the item see the pace that we uphold. It don't make sense, but because I'm so passionate, and because we see the hour that we're in, and because we know the power of media, and not having our media is not owning our own media is one of the biggest mistakes that people can make. So we are, moving quickly to ensure, and you're going to see some more collaborations with I and other Rastafari media platforms as well in the future. Big up Ija Star, Rastafari TV, you name them. Rastafari Jams, Just Jam Magazine, iYard Radio. We're going to be doing a collaboration with iYard Radio. We're going to be bringing Bongo Jerry Small more regular to the platform. So we have so much plans. We're still in the early days of this platform, even though we're coming up on our 5-year anniversary in October. October will be 5 years since the Lion Voice Network has been posting regularly. Our goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers this year. We're on pace. So we definitely need, and I know that I may have to hit 1 million subscribers before we get 50,000 people to give $10 to one of the guests. But that's why you hear Iman keep chanting, so that it's going to happen. And remember, it's almost like a susu, because if you're part of the core of the movement, that means at some point you're going to come on the platform and tell your story. So that means once that machinery is there, it's going to benefit the eye at some point. So this is how we have to look at this as well as Rastafari people. When we build our own thing and it's there, then we have the access to go on that same platform and to get the benefit, you know what I mean? So it's not just you supporting the platform, you're supporting yourself. Also, we're going to be having some new advertisers come on board shortly as well. We've been reasoning, ones have been reaching out, give thanks. And if you have a single that you're promoting as an artist, or a book you're launching, we have very reasonable rates to promote. So you see all of that real estate in the beginning with the artists and the commercials. Eventually that will be all different people. It won't just be I promotion at the station. We have reserved that real estate there to create that global marketplace, so that the global family, and because we're creating a culture where we're giving and everybody's feeding in, we're going to ask, when you see these advertisers, these Rastafari brands coming on the platform, we're going to ask that the item support them, so that they feel good to support the platform. And this is how we're going to create the ecosystem. You know what I mean? But I can talk very long. I'm long-winded, and the item know, and the item tolerate I. So I have nothing but gratitude. I give thanks. But it's so important, especially because the war expanding. We know that the food shortage and all of these things coming, and we're trying to get these things in place before our back is against the wall. So this is why you're gonna hear I man keep chant the sound, because by chanting and working, this is how we make our vision manifest. This is our divinity. This is our power. You know what I mean? To make things manifest. All right, housekeeping out of the way. Big up Ramia King Design. When I'm sipping, when my throat get dry, sip some coconut water. This is a Rastafari business. Big up yourself, Raslage. Beautiful, beautiful. We are supporting each other. Big up Frontline Books. Make sure you go watch Frontline, Reading Ras on the Frontline program. The last one was a classic. Dr. Imani, Dr. Santua, Sister Rakina. Classic episode. Check it out. The legendary Sekou Tafari. So make sure. Tonight's guest, again, is a poet, a wordsmith, someone who is no stranger to the conscious community in Jamaica and overseas. You know what I mean? She has distinguished herself also as a martial artist and as the parent of a martial artist. When I heard that she had that skill, it made me so happy because I know the power that martial arts have. In Kemet, they were practicing is something very African. We see the reliefs and the hieroglyphs of them practicing martial arts and things like that. So martial arts is part of I and I trad, you know what I mean? And I think it should be standard as Rastafari and Pan-African family. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about gender-based violence. We're going to talk about the defense of our women and our children. This will be a classic episode. Get your Ital snacks, get your meditation ready, and help us to welcome the Royal Queen, Sistah Cherry Natural. Royal greetings, Sistah Cherry Natural. Greetings. Hold on, let me see if that's me. You have to unmute yourself there.
Yes, greetings. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfectly, perfectly. Greetings. How's everything with the eye?
Great, great. Just multitasking.
Yeah, man, we know it's very busy, and I want to just thank the eye for taking time. Congratulations on the new life that the eye is also welcoming onto the physical plane. And
yes, my new grandson.
Yes, mightyful. And I want to big up Sister Aisha for making this possible. Only Sister Aisha could have made this possible, because Sistah Cherry Natural does not do interviews. This is an exclusive, family. Lion Voice, Lion Talk, exclusive.
I used to do a lot of interviews, but I kind of cut down on interviews right now,
Yes. We had a good reasoning about that. I'm going to ask the eye. We have a tradition here on the Lion Talk live show where we ask people to step into our iritical time machine and to take us to the time of your birth. We want you to paint a picture of your origin story. Where were you born? What was it like for you growing up as a child?
So I was born in St. Andrew, Jamaica.
Okay.
So, in Walton Park. I think it was a home delivery. And I was born on the 20th of April. So this month here, step in, is my month.
Wow. Congratulations. Yes. And what was it like for you? What was Jamaica like in those times? Are we talking the 60s?
We're talking the 60s. We're talking the 60s. So Um, Jamaica was very still, the village was there. When I
Okay.
was born, I born and came and see the village. The village, we never get rid of the village yet. It never turned a battlefield yet. Right?
Okay.
So the village was still there. We had community. We had camaraderie with our neighbors. It wasn't perfect, but I could have did go across my neighbor, go eat when I was a little girl.
Yes.
And we could eat out of we neighbor pot. You
Okay.
understand? And
Yes.
nobody was thinking that they might poison you or do there something. No, we weren't thinking that way.
Okay. Okay. And
Yes.
and for those who are not familiar, because when you say Waltham, no, that area carry a name to it in
So
Jamaica.
Waltham, Cockburn Pen,
Yeah.
Waltham kind of right now, most of those communities right now, the name is connected to strife. You
Yes.
understand? But back in those days, it was not connected that way.
Yes.
So when you say Waltham now, people think that it's a garrison, but we didn't even realize it was no garrison at that time.
Of course. And as you said the village was still there in Jamaica.
Yes, the village was very much alive and well. Our neighbors and our aunties and uncles, if we did something wrong, could give us a good spanking and send us home.
Wow. Wow. Where did you go to school?
I went to, so, all right, after I was born, they are the first one for my mother and my father.
Okay.
And so some little discrepancy. So my paternal grandmother took me to the country after I was born. Say around a year after I was born, she took me to the country in Westmoreland. So I grew up in Darliston, Westmoreland until age 12. And then
Okay.
I came back to Kingston.
Okay. So you got rural Jamaica in the 60s.
Yes,
What
yes.
was what was that like going out to the countryside, the rural? Were the youths wearing shoes that time? What was it like?
No. I could go. Not that we never have. Maybe we had shoes, but
Yes.
it was not no pressure to wear it or not wearing it. So
Yes.
more time we just lick the barefoot and go on. And if
Yes. Yes.
and if we shoes something wrong with we shoes, we would have kind of bit still go barefoot at school and nobody would get judge you. The thing is that we weren't identified by the material at that
Okay.
time. No.
Beautiful, beautiful times. And were there a lot of were there the presence of any Rastafari in those communities, either Waltham or country? Did you see any Rastas at that time?
Well, not in the country, but in Waltham, you might have a one and two Rastas. But when I was going to school, I
Mhm.
came back when I was 12 and going to St. Jude's Primary, a
Yes.
school in the Waltham, same way because I came back to that grandmother house.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
from one paternal grandmother to a maternal grandmother. So I was raised mostly by my grandparent, the
Grandparents.
female. Yeah, my
Okay.
female grandparent. Although the male was there, they did not play much of a role, right?
Okay.
So the knowledge and the culture and the way of life was passed on through my grandmothers, right?
Okay.
They would tell us stories and things like that. So when I came back to my maternal grandparents' home and used to go to St. Jude's Primary, there was a gully behind the school and there was a Rasta man there. But people used to call him a black art man and
Okay.
said that we have to be careful because he catch children and cut out them heart. You understand? That's what I was told.
Wow.
So it did not, during that time, it wasn't something that was promoted
Popular.
as was something good. You understand?
Yes. Yes. It was something to be feared.
Yes, yes. because it was not plenty people around. So you know that once you have someone standing out, everybody is gonna speculate and you become a novelty. You understand?
Yes.
So yes, so because it was not plenty people who were Rastas at that time, that was they build stories around your presentation. They build a story.
Wow. Did you grow up in a Christian home, or was religion not really stressed, or how? What was your
Yes,
home like?
religion was stressed in both homes. So one of my grandparents was a Seventh-day Adventist, and one was a Sunday worshiper.
Wow,
And
okay.
you know what happened too? When I was during that time, I
Mm,
came from my maternal grandmother.
yes.
Um, she married my mother's father and
Mm-hmm.
had 5 children with him, and then they he went to England, and so they broke up and left her with the 5 children, and she met a Chinese man, and the Chinese man took her up with the 5 children, and they had 3 more, no,
Okay.
4. They had 4 more children. So what happened is that my grandmother was a Seventh-day Adventist, and they have a particular lifestyle at that time. My Chinese uncle, 3 uncles and aunt, used to go to a different church on a Sunday. That's
Yeah.
where the Chinese used to go in Swallowfield,
Yes.
Swallowfield Chapel. So the bus used to come and pick them up every Sunday and take them there. While my grandmother and the grandchildren, like I was the second grandchild for her, and she and like her other relatives would go to the Adventist church. So it was
Okay.
a little privilege thing there happening. So we couldn't go to that church because we weren't Chinese, right?
Oh. Okay.
And then what happened now, say around a year or so after, 2 of my uncles who used to go to that Chinese church in Swallowfield just start to turn Rasta, start to meditate Rasta. I don't know who they fuck or who influenced them, but it
Yeah.
was like judgment day into the house, right?
Wow. Wow.
Yes, and them start to sight up Rasta. When I talk about sight up Rasta, it was back in those days when all the language come with the image. So when
Yeah.
them even say pepper, them nobody say pepper, them say hyper, I
I.
not. And when them cooking, them have to have them coconut and them cook on them wood fire different. So them not eating from the house anymore. Them a
Okay.
put them one little pot around the back on a wood fire. So remember, them was kind of little middle class people, right?
Yes.
And it create a problem because them couldn't understand what got into them. You
Wow.
understand? But 2 of them, they used to go to karate schools. They used to go all of the activities. They were well brought up in their culture, so they could not understand that shift. So I used to kind of meditate and spend a lot of time around them and watch them how them very
Oh.
colorful. Them
Okay.
not start.
No, I'm just putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I love the storytelling. Continue.
So I used to see that as a little girl, them color all the Bible and them read a chapter a day. I used to see that. So I grew up in when it was the practice of Rastafari was a
Yes.
discipline, real discipline. No
Yeah, man.
little, no little hurry come up this and hurry come up that. So them color the Bible. And no
Yes.
matter what them parents, them Chinese father and them mother, no matter what them a char fire, them never move. It never
Wow.
moved them.
Wow.
No. So them
What
used to so
what
yeah.
year? What year are we talking about here? What
And
year?
we're talking about maybe around early 70s,
Okay. So
early
this is when
70s.
the Rastafari vibration start take Jamaica in a real way through the music and everything, right?
yeah, but I personally think it wasn't even the musical aspect of it that really grabbed them, because they
Mm-hmm.
were musically inclined. I never hear them
Yeah.
talk about any artist or anybody. What grabbed them was the spirituality and the
Okay.
levity. You understand? The levity of not eating flesh, of
Yes.
not, mixing with Babylon is a way of rebellion. And it was
Yes.
rebellion in a that form, at that time. It was never the music.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, as a little girl, you would have been just taking in all of this. And
Everything. I used to go around there, go watch the pot, forget some of that pot there because them never cook without the coconut milk, you understand? So we
yes,
used to wait on the pot to get a little, no salt in it, but we used to wait on it. It used to fascinate us. The whole liberty used to fascinate us.
wow. And so, what came first for the eye, the martial arts or the poetry?
Um, Both of them came at the same time. They
Really?
came yeah, they came pretty early because the poetry was a form of um, rebellion, you
Okay.
know. Yes, it was rebelling against what I see around us and the system and how little girls were treated. It was rebelling against that. And the martial arts was also a rebellion against walking on the road as a little girl. So after a while, I came to live with my father, and my
Okay.
father was living in Almontown.
Okay.
And
And next community, and
so
next infamous community.
yes, it's another community. So I've
Yes.
been going through going from different homes, you know,
Yes.
yeah, from father, mother, then paternal grandmother and maternal grandmother. So when I was living with my father, now I used to go to a school across this popular place called Race Course. And
Yes.
we used to walk across Race Course to go to school. So when I was say around 13, and yeah, walk across, and it's a far way, and we walk and we come back to Almontown. So there was a group of guys always on the corner, bigger guys, and they used to play. Those were the time when young men used to play football in the street. They called it
Yes.
scrimmage or
Yes.
something like that. Yeah, they used
Yes.
to play football. That's how they really used to uh, um, socialized.
Yes.
So you'd find a lot of men on the road playing football. So when I used to pass there now, they used to trouble me. You understand? As a little girl. And
Okay.
so they used to touch you and they used to trouble you and it's like you hardly could say anything. I was even so afraid. So that's when
Mhm.
I went and studied martial arts. So
Oh,
the both of them intersect, the poetry and the martial arts.
what was the first martial art that you took?
Kung Fu.
Kung
Kung
Fu.
Fu. Yeah, there
Okay.
was a Kung Fu school at the
Yes.
YWCA. Somebody told me about it, and then I went um, at evening time to go and watch until I started to join the class. And the training was very hard. What I really wanted was martial arts for self-defense
Yes.
because you have two aspects of martial arts. You have
Okay.
sports martial arts and you have martial arts for self-defense. But
Yes.
at that time, I did not know the difference. So
Okay.
when I used to go there now and they used to show me some things, it weren't practical. Was
Oh,
never practical. No, the eagle style, the crane style, and no. So I was still yearning for something more. I was still searching. So that's how I end up studying a lot of different martial arts. I leave from one school just to find something that could connect with
okay.
me. Yeah.
Did you know about Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee was my hero. Up to this day, I have a poster of Bruce Lee down my house in Jamaica.
Okay.
Bruce Lee was I knew of Bruce Lee because we used to go to, when I was in Almontown, I was living close to the Carib Theatre. So on a Saturday when they have Martini, we would get like a 3 for 1 And we would go and watch Bruce Lee. He was one of the person who motivated me for martial arts also.
Were you aware that he was one of the fathers of mixed martial arts in terms of?
Yes, I was aware because what happened that when I started to study in Bruce Lee, he said the only belt he has is the one that hold up in pants. So yeah, from that perspective, I know that he was not connected to any particular system. So
Yes,
yeah, he used to study with Yapman, and
yes,
I think Yapman used to study Wing Chun.
yes,
You
Wing
understand?
Chun, man, yes,
Yes. And that is the one he stayed in the longest. But he go across, he did a lot of different systems. And he
yes,
also, Bruce Lee was also a very strict philosopher. He
yes.
used to have one of the biggest library. So he was like the spirit of Bruce Lee connected with my spirit because I'm also a lover of books, a collector of books, and I'm
Okay,
also a person who is a street philosopher.
okay. I call myself the reading ras because
Yes,
I love books so
yes.
much as well. Um, One of the fascinating things about Bruce Lee, because right now there's a big phenomenon mixed martial arts now. You have the UFC, you have a lot of different leagues. It's very popular. But in those early days, if you studied karate, you didn't cross over into kung fu, or if you did boxing, you wouldn't take karate. Bruce Lee was one of the first that actually combined all of these styles. And you're saying that because of that influence, and because you are living in a environment that is a inner city environment, not as bad as it is today, you wanted something practical. You didn't want to go through the katas and the form and the
No,
all of
no,
that. You
no.
wanted something that could defend you. And what talk to us about that journey? How did you find that? And did you have to use it in the streets in Jamaica?
So when I started to, when I used to go and watch the martial arts movies as a little girl and was so fascinated by it. Leaving the movie, you think you could fight off the world. You just feel very powerful. So when I realized that, no, it's far from the truth. So my neighbor used to do self martial arts and said he's gonna teach me how to fight. But I realized that he was doing the same thing. He did sports martial arts, so he didn't know any self defense move. So I went to from Kung Fu, I went to a karate school that, so you have the black uniform, never like the white uniform. So people who used to wear full black never respect the people who used to wear full white. So I
Okay.
went to a school that wear full white, and it's the same thing. They were doing, this was just karate, and they were doing a lot of katas. One thing
Yes.
with the Kung Fu school, they don't do a lot of katas, but they do a lot of animal system, animal
Okay.
styles. No, but
Yes.
not a lot of katas, and they call it form.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
yes, the karate school used to do a lot of katas for the whole class. It would be katas, katas, katas. So it's like rehearsed, everything rehearsed. So I realized that, wow, that's not for me again. So I
Yes.
started moving until I was amongst some monks and some nuns, and I people used to just visit them. So there was this martial artist who came down under that patronage, right? And I was a part of the whole. They had a cultural group there, Renaissance Artists Writers Association, and I used to be a part of the group. So I met this karate man who said that what he wanted to do is to establish himself. So he said he would teach me for free. And I was very, very interested. And what I would do is help him. So I would help to carry the bag, carry the stick, help to, you know, um, be an little amateur to help the students also. So what the system he was teaching was modern harness from the Philippines by
Oh,
discovered by this man named Remy Presser.
Okay.
So I used to go to the class every evening trying to figure it out. And then after a while, I realized this is it.
Okay.
This is what I was looking for. Everything makes sense. Everything start making sense. You
Okay.
understand? So I would end up there even sometimes 5 times for the week in the afternoon. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So what was different about this style as opposed to the form in Kung Fu or the katas in karate? What was different about this?
this was basically mostly for self-defense. It was not sports martial arts.
Yes.
The modern arnis, if you understand it is a combination of Kali and Eskrima. So what happened is that they are in the Philippines when the war break out, they used to use Kali or Eskrima to fight the invaders. So what happened is that it's basically a combination of all three. So this brethren create this system and call it modern arnis from Eskrima and Kali. So it's basically you're training to defend yourself. It did not require a belt. We never trained for a belt. It did not have a particular regiment. And yes, we do form. It was called form, not kata. So all the systems, all the things was practical.
Okay. And did you ever have to use that in real life? Did you ever get to
Yeah.
test it out?
Yes, I have to use it in real life. Uh-huh. Could you give me a minute, please?
Yeah, man, no problem, no problem.
1 minute. Yeah.
Yes, no problem, no problem. Family, we are. Hold on there, family. And we do give thanks. Fascinating. I took martial arts as a youth. I started with Kung Fu. I did a little bit of karate as well. But it's something that's very fascinating. I do think that as Rastafari, this should be part of the liberty, just because of the discipline that it has. My son is a martial artist, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I see the benefit, of having him in there, and just confidence that it gives to the young people being able to maneuver themselves and to defend themselves if push come to shove,
Yeah.
So definitely.
As I told you, I was multitasking. So here what happened now. But
Yes.
I am so inspired to talk about the martial arts journey. I didn't know that it was going to be basically on the march because I'm very, very much into it like that.
Yes,
So,
I love it too.
so when I did modern harness, before I did modern harness and I was doing Kung Fu, I was walking through the stadium one night and that time I did have I had an ego. So I used to eat, sleep, and dream of martial arts, and I just thought that I could fight. And some little guys, around 4 of them, know that I go to karate school and challenge me and give me a good beating. So I decided that I'm not going to go back because I didn't know what to do. I was just there telling them that eagle, snake, and that wasn't making any sense.
Sorry. It's not funny. It's not funny, but
It's very funny. It is very funny, man. No, it is very funny. I'm telling you, I got through some things, because I had an ego,
They might jump you and you say, eagle.
Eagle, and I'll go up with 1 foot in the air, man. And then give me some ratted licky, eagle.
Sorry.
Yeah, because I never translated properly, because there was nothing wrong with what the Kung Fu school was teaching, It's just that what I wanted, they weren't teaching that, you understand? Because their discipline was really but it was basically undisciplined, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then, so what happened now when I started to doing harness and I realized the seriousness of the training and the practicality and what I could do and the knowledge that I was gaining, my ego went because I
Okay.
realized, yes, my instructor was a very, very good instructor. He was from Canada and he trained in martial arts and came down here to establish a school in harness. So
Okay.
I was there, I was there, I was there. And even when I have my daughter, at the time when I had my daughter, I took my daughter to class, spread her blanket on the ground, and continued to train in how dedicated I was. Um, yeah,
Did you ever get a chance to use that new system, the Animus
the
system?
harness, harness.
Harness. Did you get a
Yeah,
chance?
well, what happened is that this time now, a lot of persons I would like to, I wanted to show them. And
Yeah.
back in the days, they didn't think that women could do anything. Women
Yes.
could fight or anything. They didn't believe it, even if I was doing karate and I tell them that I'm doing karate. So I wanted to teach people what I know, and they would laugh at me and say, boy, you know, guys would say, no woman could have beat me up and things like that. So because I realized how practical this system is and how confident I am,
Yes.
I was never perturbed. So I let them challenge me. Like
Okay.
my brothers and his friends, I just say, come. Four of you going come, and you're going to just come at me. And each one of them was jumping on the ground. Each one of them was jumping on the ground. Because
Okay.
this was it. And I really was training hard. And
Yes.
I started to develop the reflex and the skill and the speed. And there was this guy who he keep messing around me and telling me that this is from another community I went
Yes.
to. And he
Yes.
keep messing around me. And then I said, all right, since you keep messing around me, I said, stop, don't try it. And then I retaliate. And it was right in his grind. Oh, even a couple of years after he was pointing me out and said, that is the lady who kicked me in my grind. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, because
Yes.
he didn't know I was so fast. He thought that
Yes.
it was a plating, you know.
Yes. 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 I think it's so fascinating. Did you ever study the roots or the history of martial arts, and have you ever looked at it from an African perspective?
Yeah, because the capoeira is
Yes.
is a system from Africa, you know. And
Yes.
so
Capoeira. Yes.
we study because we're so in depth in it and right into it, into the deepest part of it. So we study every other aspects of it. So in Africa now, on the plantation, when the slave owners would think that is just a concert they are having and they're just dancing, they were really practicing martial arts,
Yes.
capoeira. And that
Yes.
dance thing that they would move and they would play the thing, that
Yes.
came from Africa. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So it
And
was not, they thought that's how they disguised it, as
yes.
like it was just a dance.
Give thanks. And when you started this training, how old were you at that time?
I was in my 20s.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I started going to martial arts schools from in my teens, you know, or young
Okay.
teens. So I'm studying martial arts around 40 odd years now, you know.
Okay. So
So I
from
was,
in the 70s you started.
yeah, that
And then
the
the
Arnis, I started Arnis to be
Arnie.
exact. Arnis, let me see, because I got a instructor's degree. I got a black belt, and then I got my instructor's degree in '89. Because when
Okay.
my instructor came, he only could stay a particular time. So because of
Yeah.
my interest, he left all the schools with me to run.
Okay.
And then he went back and he came back and gave me an instructor's degree, a junior instructor's degree. And I started because he said that no, I am the one supposed to establish harness in Jamaica. So I
Oh,
started to. He had established a school at St. Andrew Tech, Excelsior, Mom Insurance. So I took over the whole tree until maybe I could not manage the whole tree. Just focus on one.
okay, wow.
Yeah.
Because this is the first time I'm hearing of this style.
Yeah, man,
From the
Arnist. It's ARNIST.
okay,
Not NIST, ARNIS.
Arnis.
Arnist.
Arnis.
Arnist. Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna because I took martial arts as a youth, kung fu, and I
Mm-hmm.
did karate. And I was telling the audience, my son does Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You know.
Wow,
Um,
yes. That,
yeah.
also a very good system for self-defense.
Do you watch the mixed martial arts events now? Are you familiar with what's been happening with mixed martial arts?
I used to participate in kickboxing too because as I said, I tried every little thing, everything to
Yes.
see what is there for me, what is not there for me.
Hmm.
So now I don't focus on watching the mixed martial arts, but I know of it. I used to watch it back in the days, but not now.
Yes.
No, yeah, not now. But back in the days when I was a fanatic in terms of not understanding the rules and the
Yes.
discipline and the
Yes.
principles. But now
Yes.
that I am very mature and I run seminars, I put on workshops, I do
Okay.
workshops overseas, workshops in England, workshops in Canada, workshops in America. I do a lot of seminars for women self-defense in Jamaica. So now it's a different level of
Yeah.
what I understand the martial arts to be right now.
Okay. Beautiful. And we're gonna talk about the importance because I think martial arts should be a part of our livity. Now, your cultural journey. Let's talk about the poetry and then the cultural journey. What was the first time that you created a poem, and what was that poem? You said it was about resistance or
You know,
rebellion.
who was my mentor
Who?
back in the days and who brought me into poetry? Miss Louise Bennett,
Wow.
Coverly. Yeah,
Okay. You drop a
Miss
bomb
Louise,
there. You drop a
yeah, Miss
bomb.
Louise Bennett, Coverly. Because what happened that she was standing for the Jamaica language. She go against the grain, and I like that. I born with that type of rebellion inside of me. So I did just need the people them to bring it out. And Bob Marley and Miss Lou brought that out, you understand? And then Marcus Garvey. So yeah.
Okay. So do you remember what your first poem was about?
It was copying one of Miss Lou poem, Miss Lou have a poem named Dirty Tough, and I wrote a poem called Time Hard. Yeah, it
Okay.
was copying Miss Lou. Yes, back in school, that was in like say 8th grade.
Okay. Okay. And when did you decide that I'm gonna start performing poetry? Because it's one thing to write poem in your notebook or to write a poem for school, but when did you decide I'm going to actually go on stage and perform these poems? When did that revelation come?
So I was a part of this group called RAWA, Renaissance Artists Writers Association. And so we used to go and perform all over the place. So I was the poet in the group. So you have dancers, you have singers, you have dramatists. So I used to do the poetry. So I got a chance to go up and do my poem. And then what happened is that when there's any competition during festival time, or the Tasty Talent concert, I would just go and register for it. So that desire was inside of me to bring the poetry to light. And when I used to write, because I love children, I used to have a lot of children around me.
Yes.
As a bigger person, I never wasn't well old or anything. Like in my early 20s, I used to have children, so I used to just call them and I perform the poem for them to hear what them say. 'Cause I didn't have my own audience. If I couldn't find an audience, I create an audience with the children.
That's so ingenious.
Yeah.
So what was your most memorable poem, or what are some of your most memorable poems that stay with you to this day?
Wow, yeah, a lot of them, a lot of them, a lot of them. Back in the days when I used to perform, I used to really get a lot of, people. I used to wake up a lot of people, even when, and I used to do a lot of poems about gender,
Yeah,
also about
yeah,
women empowerment. So
yeah.
when I am performing poems about women empowerment, men used to actually walk out of the audience.
Wow.
Yes, and they used to say that I'm liberating the women from them. I'm liberating the women from them. They directly tell me that, not just one or two or three.
Yeah,
And
true.
yeah, it never moved me. When I was young, I was kind of bit like there's nothing could move me. Understand? So yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
You're a warrior. You're a warrioress.
Yeah,
Um,
I born with a warrior spirit.
yes. So explain to our audience, we have a global audience, what are the gender relations in working class Jamaica? What is the typical, from your vantage point, growing up in a working class community? What are the gender norms in those communities, or some of the things you observe?
Well, you know, ironically, it is like when I was a young girl growing
Yes.
up, I always grew up in a home with male and female, right? So
Yeah.
I have a clear understanding of the dynamics between male and female.
Yes.
So all the homes that I grew up in, male and female, the roles, some of the roles was identifiable. My grandfather would go out and work, and my grandmother would stay home, and she would take care of the children. But what happened is that they weren't people who was just docile. So my grandmother in the country have her own ground. They call it a ground or farm. She had her
Yes.
own little farm to maintain the house. So she
Okay.
never just wait on my grandfather alone to bring in food in the house. She had
Yes.
her farm, and from her farm, or she have ackee or pear tree, she would take the pear down to the market and exchange them, maybe for some fish, or she would get some money to help to send the children to school. So
Okay.
although people think that boy, the woman is supposed to be in the house and the man go out and work, I have never seen that. I
Yeah.
grew up and see my grandmother have to do something also to help out the household, right?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
have their little farm where they could eat from. And it's the same thing with my next grandmother. She used to have her female group, the church group, the 7-day church group, and they would have different little crocheting class, or they
Yes.
would have knitting class, and they would
Yes.
just sit down and discuss the Bible. So they have groups. They did not just sit down there and was just there, as if they have no purpose, right? It
Yeah.
was because to just be staying home as a woman who has 2 children, to just stay home and your life revolve around the home and children and the man, it can really create a level of unfulfillment, and it can make you it can make you stressful. You understand? And I
Yeah.
don't think it's a good home to grow a child in, because you're trying to take out your frustration on the children. You don't,
Yes.
because you're around children the whole time. I don't think it is productive, and I don't think it is mentally healthy for the woman. No.
And that's not our African tradition. That was never Africa tradition where the woman just stay at home. The woman
And just her
always
life
travel.
revolve around the children. No, no.
Yes.
She has a
So
brain, so she has to use it. So I grew up in home where women use their brain.
so it's so important. And I love how you, because what you describe, if you read Proverbs 31, you know, you would
Mhm.
see that when they describe the virtuous woman, it's not a woman sitting down with the children. It says she go out, she buy a field, she do this, she do that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whole heap of
Mm-hmm.
different things she depend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
man.
that I think is a Eurocentric standard of the housewife will stay home and just with the children. We never had that luxury
It's
as a
no, no, and it was not healthy. It was not healthy. you
yes.
know no, it was not healthy because it's hard to be a mother if you're unfulfilled. If
Yeah
you have
man.
dreams and hopes, and you have idea to paint, or you have idea to write, or you have that passion inside of you to create, and somebody's telling you that no, this is your place, it's not a healthy human being you have around you.
No, no, I
No,
agree. I
no.
agree 10,000%, you know.
It's not
And
an you don't have a healthy person around you. You're going to have somebody who is going to be bitter, who is going to be there, because sometimes we don't pay attention to each other, especially in partnership. We just think that this is how a person and the other person should act. So we don't pay attention to it, and knowing that you're creating bitterness. You have a person in your home who, according to how you treat them, every day they get bitter and bitter and bitter. You're not even paying attention to that. You just think that they should be okay with their station in life.
so true. What was your journey to Rastafari? What attracted you in the early days? And I know you have evolved, in your chart, but what was the early attraction?
The naturalness, the natural liberty, and the rebellious spirit. Because Rastas, when I was coming into Rasta, it was rebellion against a particular religion, and how that religion was colonizing our mind. So I came into Rasta through that. I never came into Rasta because of the religious aspect of it at all. I came in rebelling because I grew up in a strict Christian home, and most of the things that they were saying never make sense. You understand? So this was a way of having something to replace that. So that was what I came through, you know.
And what year did you start to make that transition in your journey?
Mm, 80, 88, 88, 89.
Okay, so that was a very interesting time in Jamaica. What was happening in Jamaica at that time?
A lot of persons were citing up Rastafari. A lot of persons. And it was in rebellion against Christianity.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of persons, I don't know some people's tradition, but it was in rebellion. So a lot of persons was citing up Rastafari, because what happened is that there was an enforcement of, you have to be a Christian, or your family member is a Christian. So them said that, they pass it down to you, and people were rebelling. That just like in any generation, all generation rebel at some point in time. So
Yeah.
my generation, and the beauty of it is that we were very fortunate to have Rastafari
Yes.
to use as a rebellion. Yes, yes.
Yes.
We parents never like when we start to not eat from the family pot, and we start to come up and blend up our own things, and we also start to cook our own things, and they would, think that um you're going to die from just eating the leaves, you know, of the earth. Or
Yes.
how can
Yes.
you not? Yeah. So, but
So,
although my home was a 7-day Adventist, so they never eat certain things like pork.
yes.
Pork could
Yes.
not cook in there in the home. So we
Mhm.
all already had that. But they had this strict thing where you have to wake up a morning time and go to church every Saturday, and you couldn't eat until maybe after 5 o'clock, and you have to. It was like it was forced upon you, you know.
Mhm. And did you when you were making your transition, did you remember the influence of your two Chinese uncles who had made that choice in the
Yes,
earlier
of
time?
course. I remember the influence of them. I remember remember them because they played a key role, because I observed them and they were like, back in the days, no, people would call them a fanatic. You
Yes.
understand? Because like the pants that them used to wear, sometimes them could all have three pants, one yellow, one red, one green. You understand? Yeah. And the gun mouth, it have to be gun mouth. You understand? And so they used to, the locks was very sacred. One time I see my uncle come home. That was back in the days. I see him coming, used to ride a bike, and he came home, and we were living in a little uh, um, upscale community because I told him my grandmother had married to this Chinese man, and they, have a
Yeah.
little thing going. So they bought a house in a little upscale community, and my uncle came home one day and he just dropped himself on the lawn. And people thought that he got shot, but it was not popular for somebody to just get shot like that back in them time there. But he was crying and he was wailing. He done nothing more than the police catch him and cut off him locks.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
police
wow.
cut him locks. I don't know why. It was during the time when them never like Rasta and them would have they just target them.
Did those two uncles stay in the Liberty or did they go forward to their Chinese culture?
No, they didn't go forward to their Chinese culture, but they came out of the Rastafarian liberty.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but they never go to any Chinese culture.
Okay. So you're making your journey now. You're more on the militant side of Rastafari revolution.
I am more on the rebellion side. I don't want to lose that rebelliousness, and I don't want to be someone who get docile because Rasta's taken on a lot of the religious aspects of
Yes,
Christianity. Yeah.
yes.
And so I am not. I am not on that side of it. I have high regards for His Imperial Majesty and Empress Menen, and
Yeah.
yes, but I am not religiously based. I am more spiritually based in
Okay.
terms of, yes, I can connect to nature and I can connect to a lot of things other than just having that hierarchy. I do a lot of research on my own. I have a very huge library and I
Okay.
read. I try to educate myself about a lot of stuff. So books
Okay.
that people do not normally read, I read it. I seek it out and go and read it. You
Okay.
understand? Yes.
Okay.
So I base it off of um my love of knowledge and to see, what is happening now. But I still, when I was just coming and locking my hair, that is one of the things that my family would have wished I didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
They would have wished that I cut the locks. So the locks is still a rebellion against a lot of stuff. So when they say I'm not cutting the locks, they still say, boy, yeah, something. You still
So
have that rebellion.
so based on where you are now and reflection, how do you cite His Majesty and Empress Menen within a spiritual context? How these do I reflect on these ones, or how do they guide your practice?
They guide my practice the same way that how the Christianity would use Jesus to guide their practice, which
Okay.
um, Jesus never looked like me. So that was another the rebellion. So my grandparents had always had a picture um, with this blue-eyed tall-hair man and with a
Yes.
heart in his chest. So I was happy to have that replaced with His Imperial Majesty. And
Okay.
Empress Menen, yes. So that is the same principle that it guide me. So if I see God in my own color, you understand? Because the blue eye tall man never looked nothing like me.
Like you.
Yeah.
Give time.
So that's how that's how it is. It's guide my life.
Yes. Give thanks.
Yeah.
Give thanks. I want to get into your work with children because I think this is so important and part of your character. It speaks to your character. Talk about the martial arts work that you have been doing with children.
So I teach. I am a teacher. Now I'm on holiday, so that's why I'm here. So I
Yes.
teach children, and wow, I've learned so much from children. And as a female teaching children, I have to earn my respect.
Okay.
Normally, as a male martial artist, it's a given. You get your respect because you're a male. And sometimes my children would say, they call me sensei, and sometimes they would say sir, because it's not typical for a woman to be, you know, a
Yeah.
female martial artist. And what happened is that I also train them in one of the key thing is discipline. Although I'm teaching self-defense, they have to maintain a certain discipline. And these days, I've been teaching for around 20 odd years, going
Yes.
30. And the children back then the children now is totally different from the children back then. The
Okay.
children back then would automatically respect you. Now you have to earn your respect. So a child, you will find children will fight off teacher in school. A child don't run that joke with me. You understand?
Yes.
So
Yes.
because they see whatever training I am giving them, I can also do it at my big age. I can
Oh,
do the push-ups, I can do the kicks, and they have that amount of respect for me because I live what I preach.
yes. 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 And that's important because I think we've seen a lot of unhealthy people in the Rastafari and Pan African community. And part of it is because of the stationary life. You know, you sit down, you're doing things, you're not active. So to know that the eyes still doing push-ups and kicks and
Yeah,
all those things that
everything. I have to train with my children. I can't sit down and instruct them, I'm telling you. And that is
yeah,
one of the ways that I get my respect. Their parents respect me, and the head of the school respect me because
yeah,
I don't sit down. No, I don't sit down and instruct.
that is so beautiful. Have you done any work in Waltham or Almontown or some of these communities? Do you work with any of these young people?
No, no, but I do a lot of work in other communities. I do a
Okay,
lot of work I do a lot of work in Southside. I do
okay.
a lot of work, in Mountain View. I do a work in other areas. I do a lot of work overseas with children too. So,
Have, have you connected with Life Yard? Are you familiar in Southside?
Life Yard, I think, well, if you, there was the Imani Tafari had a
Mhm.
program that I was helping her teach the children's
Okay.
self-defense martial arts. And I think that name Life Yard rings a bell. It rings a
Yes.
bell in
They're
Southside,
they're
yeah.
they're doing some powerful work in Southside, some Rastafari youth, and
Hmm.
they do a lot of social programs. They started with a urban farm, and they do a lot of
Since
artwork,
since
mural.
recent though, I've
Yeah,
not
recent.
done any of those.
Oh,
I've not, no.
okay.
So if it's something recent, no,
Yes,
I've not. But back in the days, say
yeah, man.
10, 12
We
years
can
ago, yeah.
yes, we connect the eye too because they're doing some wonderful work. And they have an Empress Menen circle there for young girls and things. So they're doing some beautiful work. But I want to talk about gender-based violence and the importance of self-defense. And what that can do for a person's confidence and what that can, how that helps, I think, to reduce gender-based violence. How do you see self-defense and the relationship between gender-based violence, which is not just prevalent in Jamaica, but many working class and upper class black communities right now? Generational curses. How do we break these curses?
All right. What happened? I might have to wrap it up soon. You hear?
Yes, no problem.
Yeah. So what happened is that, you see, um, gender-based violence is real. And what happens is that it affects women and children mostly when it comes to gender-based violence is mostly women and children. And there is this saying that say that a woman um, is not safe. It's not safe in her own home. Women and children. When we had COVID, that's when it bring out a lot of stuff. You understand? Because without when there was no COVID, people used to get to go out. They used to go out to work and they would leave the home and the children go to school. So when the children couldn't get to go to school and the fathers didn't get to go out, it create that close proximity, create a lot of problems. So we had a lot of gender-based violence happening that then.
Yes.
Yeah. And it is kind of bit robbing the family of stability, because I teach children and you can see the impact on the children when they come to school, and they
Yeah.
will tell you, they will talk about it, and talk about what is happening. They will tell you that, boy, they never get any sleep because their mother and their father was up all night quarreling and fighting. So yeah, you can see it in the children. And teaching self-defense to women and children, both boys and girls, because it affects boys and girls just the same, not just girls. You know, there's a lot of things that affect boys, which the society just think that because they are boys, it they will know how to deal with it. That is not true.
Yes.
When
Yes.
I'm teaching, did you know if I have a competition or anything, the quickest one to cry is a little boy? When the girl will just be there and she'll just sup it up and just accept her loss, the boys always be crying. So I think the way they socialize boys is like they don't socialize them to have any emotions, and they say they are not emotional. That's not true. Who did any studies? Who have
Yes.
ever worked with children? I can tell you that I am yet to see one girl just get up and cry because she lose a game or she didn't do well. I am yet to see that. But if a
Yes.
boy lose a game, I'm telling you, you're going to have to hush him.
Yes.
And I wonder how many persons is paying attention. So we have this false image and this false identity of what a boy should be and what a girl should be. And nobody did any research. So the little boys, I have to always be encouraging them. Just the other day before I leave, there was a little boy, we were doing some jump and kick and thing like that, and he didn't come first. And this is a tough little boy, and he was about to cry. And I'm telling you, don't have to solve a problem by just crying. And he was saying, yes, sensei, okay, sensei. He was just a boy. I was shocked because he's a tough little boy. So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, but we have this narrative without being someone who work with children, who understand children. So they suffer in silence because they are more quicker to show that level of emotions than the little girls. But everybody expect that is the little girl going to cry. But I who work with children will tell you it's not so. It is
Yeah.
not so. No, no. They are the hardest one to cry. And
And
it's,
no, I was saying a lot of the violence comes from lack of knowing how to manage emotion for
yeah,
the
yeah,
boys that those little
that
boys
is
that
it. That is it.
yes.
Because they get angry quickly, very
Yes.
quickly. They get angry, and it's because they can't express themselves. But because it's not so that detrimental for them to cry. They cry. They cry. But when they get bigger now, that's when it's more pressuring on them that they should not cry, and society going to tell them going to look like a sissy if them cry. But from
Yes.
age from age what? Around age 6 go right up to around 10, you'll have them crying. You'll have them
Yeah.
crying. But after 10, they start to get toughened up and they will keep it inside. But the fights get more regular. You
Yes.
understand? They
Yes.
fight more. Yes. And because of
Violence.
this,
I
Because
said
of the respect, pardon me?
no, I said the emotion translate to violence now after 10.
Yes. Because of the respect that they have for me, they don't feel no way crying in front of me. And I am not going to let them feel bad and think that, whoa, why are you crying? You're a boy. No, I don't tell them those foolishness. I just
Yeah.
tell them that, sometimes you win, you lose today, but you might win tomorrow. You can't win all the while. They just feel that they should win all the while. That is the biggest problem why them cry.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
I really commend the eye. I know your time is precious, and you're multitasking there. So I'm just gonna ask the eye to give some final sounds to our global Rastafari family. And is there any way that our audience can support the eye works, or if you have any
You
links
know
that?
something though? King man, I
Mhm.
would love to come back another time because I'm working on this project. I don't necessarily want to talk about it yet, but
Yes,
it's
yes,
connected
yes,
to
yes.
this. I would love to, when the project is out, I would love to come back and maybe give some tips and some, a little demonstration. But it's just that you catch me in a time where it kind of bit because I would have loved to elaborate more. But personally speaking, self-defense and our martial arts is we always was taught that it's mind and body connection. So a lot of things don't connect the mind and the body like martial arts. So I think all human beings should learn to defend themselves, man or woman, because the world is changing, and I think they should take some practical skills to defend themselves. It's a different world we are living in right now. But I would love to come back and share some very important tips with some of the people in the audience.
Well, I'm happy to announce that you are now part of the Lion Voice Network family.
Give
So
thanks. Give
anytime you
thanks.
are ready to come forward, just reach out and we will welcome you here. And we will ask our audience, our global audience, to support whatever the project is because we know it's going to be positive. It's going to be something uplifting to our community. So I just want to give thanks for the eye. Congratulations again on the grandchild. The
Yes, thank you.
and all of the work that you have done and you continue to do. You make us feel proud, and you deserve, all of the love and the joy that I know that you're experiencing at this point of your life.
Yeah,
Um,
give thanks.
thanks. So yeah,
But
man, quick love.
yeah, man. And one last tip though. One of the thing that all persons must be aware of is situation awareness. Never
Yes.
drop your guard. Please don't drop your guard. Be aware of your surroundings and don't take anything for granted. Right? So,
Mhm.
situation awareness is very key.
Give thanks and
And
very
walk with a pen. It can make a lot of difference. Walk with a pen, it can make a lot of difference, and it's not a threat to anyone, but it can do a lot.
okay, and we'll ask you when you come forward for sure some basics. Um,
Definitely,
This is a,
definitely,
this is a warrior queen family. This is a warrior queen. I know some of the
definitely.
items love that warrior part of the chad. So we would definitely have our forward to elaborate on the warrior part of the chad, because I think it's
Yes,
important that we stay physically dangerous. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
yes. And even in time of peace, you must always be sharpening your sword.
Yes, yes, definitely. So
Give thanks.
perfect love, my elder, and perfect love to the eye.
Give
I will
thanks.
be in touch and take care. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you very much. And I like the questions you asked. I wish I could elaborate some more.
Yeah, man. This is just the beginning. We don't do one interview over here, so this is just
Okay,
part one. This is just part one. Um, we
okay.
will we will welcome you lovingly, again when you're ready with your project.
Yeah, man, and give respect to Aisha again, you know?
Yeah, man. Big up Mama Aisha. Queen Mother Moses also Sefi hail you as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Give
yeah.
thanks, give thanks, give
Yes.
thanks.
Yeah, man.
Yes. She
Take it.
she knows she knows the poetic side of me. She knows the
Yes.
poetic
Yes.
side of me. Yes.
She's here in the comment section
Yeah.
commenting. So pick up oh she's asking one of our guests here, KM Jamaica TV says, can you leave us with a poem? Can you give us a poem before you
Please,
go?
another time. Please,
Okay,
please,
all right.
please.
All
Yeah.
right. Not next time. Suspense. I leave them with little suspense.
Yeah,
I leave
man. I
them
will
with
definitely be back another time. I love the vibe.
all
All
right.
right.
Perfect, love. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Blessing.
Give thanks. All right.
I see. So there you have it, family. The great Cherry Natural. We really do give thanks to have those type of guests here. If you're just joining us, do remember that we will be hosting a series. Well, two back-to-back episodes. We're gonna start off on Empress Menen Day with a exclusive episode featuring the artist Jalifa. We have a nice episode planned for that with Jalifa. It's gonna be awesome. And then we're going to follow that up. We're gonna follow that up with our third annual Empress Menen panel. What a joy! Look at the lineup. The lineup is amazing. I want the item spread out this panel. Tell your brethren and your sister to get this panel here. You know what I mean? We want everyone. Last year, I think we had over 100 people on the live, and we also ended up raising, I think, over $100 in super chats last year episode. So, we want to do better than that. If we can aim and try get like 200 people on the live, we would love that. You know what I mean? And if we can raise $200 on the super chat as well, we would love that as well. So I'm asking all of the Lion Pride on Patreon, spread out this one. We're talking about Rastafari in the time of war. What are the lessons that we can learn from Empress Menen? We're going to go into the history of Empress Menen during World War II. All those things. So put this on your calendar for this year. And let me just play this.
Me El Queen of me, got the first judgment, a Bersata I love. Naturalist, the mystic, Babylon is a disorder, pretending to be something which you're not to the smoke. Such a better way like marijuana.
All I'm pull.
Me El Queen of me, got the first judgment, a Bersata I love. Naturalist, the mystic, Babylon is a disorder, pretending to be something which you're not to bring disaster like the smoke. It's a better way, such a better way like marijuana. I mean, now well, this is the Fire Princess Jolly for here telling you that I'm going to be live with Ras Kwesi on the Lion's Talk, April the 3rd. Don't want to miss it to regret it. So we're going to be talking about the role of a Rastafarian woman in music. So tune into the vibration. You don't know, says upfulness all the time. I Jolly for said that now ramp with the fire. Emina, the Lion's Talk, Lioness.
Hold on, one more time. That one.
Me got the first judgment, a Bersata I love. Naturalist, the mystic, Babylon is a disorder, pretending to be something which you're not to bring disaster like the smoke. It's a better way, such a better way like marijuana. I mean, now well, this is the Fire Princess Jolly for here telling you that I'm going to be live with Ras Kwesi on the Lion's Talk, April the 3rd. Don't want to miss it to regret it. So we're going to be talking about the role of a Rastafarian woman in music. So tune into the vibration. You don't know, says upfulness all the time. I jolly for say that now ramp with the fire. And you know, the lion's talk. Lioness raw.
You see what I say? So, family, set your calendar for Friday. We are doing it big time. Also, again, tomorrow for the Lion Pride on Patreon, exclusive footage of our day that we spent with His Imperial Highness Prince Ermias for the Battle of Ottawa dinner and gala. We're going to be having that footage for the Lion Pride on Patreon. You can join, become part of our inner circle, help be a part of the economic engine for the channel. We are also having our Empress Menen Day panel. We just hit 950,000 views for the channel. So we're nearing in on 1 million views for the life of the channel over the 4 years. So that's a big milestone. If you hit a million in anything is a milestone. So we do give thanks, and we'll have some type of celebration for the 1 million views landmark. Just as we will have special guests for the 70,000 subscriber landmark. We're fast approaching that as well. So give thanks to all of the IDEM for just joining us on this journey. We're still in our early days as a platform, and I have nothing but gratitude because we couldn't do it without the IDEM, especially the IDEM that watch live. I know the numbers are still small, but for every single person who watch means a lot to everyone. I say we have the best comment section on the internet, and I really mean that, because when you look in the comments, it's always positive vibration, high vibration, education, people sharing knowledge, even in, people coming for the first time and they come in a little off key, them quickly fix up themselves. And worst thing is that they would just post all type of historical information because they see that this is high level reasoning over here. So I want to big up all of the audience, because I can have an idea, I can have a concept, but if the people don't gravitate to it, it doesn't mean anything. So big up everyone who has supported. Again, we're going to be bringing on some new advertisers. If you have a product or a service and you want a Rastafari audience, you want to help us build this ecosystem, reach out, make us an offer. I'll send you our promotional package and let us work out something. Let us do business. It's all about us building our own ecosystem, our own commerce, our own direct-to-consumer relationships, because as you can see, Babylon is crumbling around us, and there's no one that's going to reach into the rubble and save us. We have to create the economics, the systems to save ourselves. So one of the key nodes in that system is the media, is the Rastafari independent non-aligned media, which is rising. And we have to use these platforms to generate that economic flow. It's like your circulatory system for a goodie of people. That economic flow is the circulation of the capital. And again, when Sistah Cherry Natural come forward or other guests come forward, we want to be able to provide that value where 50,000 in the Lion Pride or 10,000 in the Lion Pride or even 100 people in the Lion Pride buy our product or service, she wake up with that economic strength to go on and continue to work. I think it's simple, decentralized. So it's not just one leader with all of the money like how Babylon do it. We put the money in the hands of all of the people, direct to consumer. I'm all about people building their ecosystem, and we put capital in the hands of the workers. Once all workers them have the capital by nature, they're going to spread it around because they're going to scale their businesses. They're going to hire people. They're going to continue to do the works because that's their passion. They're living in their passion. And the greatest thing that we can do as a community, a global family, a global Lion Pride, because I'm talking to the Lion Pride. I'm not talking to the casual people who watch here and there. I'm talking to the people who subscribe. If you subscribe, you're part of the Lion Pride. if the Lion Pride puts our strength and we invest in the workers in our community, it's only going to benefit us. And again, it's like a susu or a partner job, because your time will come as part of the Lion Pride to come on the platform, and you want the community to support the I in the same way that the I support the community. And remember, with our numbers, it doesn't have to be everybody every time. And that's why we're growing the numbers to hit that million subscriber mark, because if we just keep that number 50,000, you know what I mean? That's a substantial amount of money. And if you have a million people and 50,000, you know, it's a small percentage of the total people. So that means that you don't have to do it every time. And remember, we're not talking about huge amounts of money. We're talking about $10, $5. Soon, with hyperinflation, stagflation, all of the things that are coming with this economic collapse that Babylon has brought on itself, the end of fiat currency, the rise of digital and programmable money, all of that's coming. We know about the mark of the beast strategy. But while the fiat currency still has value, let us move it around. Let us put it in the hands of the people who can convert it into tangible assets like land and different things. And speaking of land, I'm going to be doing a lot more building in Ghana. We're going to have footage of that coming up, so stay tuned. I'm going to be putting most of it on the Patreon, but for those who are interested in the return, because with what is happening globally, of course, we have to look at repatriation and prepare that. So stay tuned for that content. For those, I know some of the items are very interested in practical things. And speaking of which, we have an interview right now with Ivy Prosper, one of the top Ghanaian vloggers. She's like the Ghanaian Oprah Winfrey. Big interview on the Lion Voice Network. We interviewed her about her journey from Toronto to Ghana, and she gives a lot of good sounds about moving to Africa and how you need to approach it. She got known globally. She did an interview with Steve Harvey that went viral, and you know what I mean, she's doing big things in Ghana. She has her own platform, so you can go support her. She has her own YouTube channel, everything. So doing great things. Ivy Prosper, go and check it out. And also, and this is the final thing, when the item watch the videos, please leave some comments in the comment section. That helps the algorithm to recommend it to more people. So for those who are leaving the comments, give thanks. For those who can, please leave a comment so the algorithm will know to share it more with the family. We have the Tough Like Iron video is doing very well. We need more comments. So go watch some of those videos. Even if you watched them before, just leave a comment under some of them video there, so the algorithm continues to push them out. We're playing chess, not checkers. So there you have it, family. We are continuing. Lock your calendar. Friday. Lock your calendar. Lock your calendar. Big things are happening. Dr. Asantua, Empress Ascali, Empress Carla, Empress Jalila, Cheryl Murray Powell Esquire, and we may have a surprise too. You never know with this channel. So get yourself together, because the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell our own stories. And this is the Lion Voice.
This is Warrior King, and the time has come for the lions and the lioness to tell their own story. This is the Lion's Voice. Give thanks and praise for the wonderful blessing that's been poured on me. Give thanks and praise. Jah use as an instrument to set the people free. Jah give her the powers to chant. Jah give her the powers to chant. Rastafari, the Lion's Voice.
Amina, the time has come for the lioness to tell our own story. No surrender, no retreat, we are Jaja soldier. Rougher than the streets, tougher than a boulder. Bigging up Lion's Voice. Now put it, I Jalifa said that.
Greetings, this is Shiloh. The time has come for the lions to tell their own story. See? This is the Lion's Voice. Keep it locked, right here, sir. Rashilo said that. Are you satisfied? Wipe those tears from your eyes. I'm all alone, still you thought I was telling a lie. This is the lion's voice. Keep it locked, right here, sir.
What are you waiting for? Come together, calling from near and far. Know who you are. What are you waiting for? Rally up, it takes the dust. What are you waiting for? Ancestors paved the way for us. Yes, I am Ketis Oyonde, asking, what are you waiting for to come together? The time has come for the lions to tell our own story. This is the lion's voice.
African pride, root of all nations, boy. I tried with the lion, the Rastafari. Lion of it tried with lioness like Titu. Empress on the front line, we need you. Well, this is Medicine, the steady one, and you are now tuned in to the Lion's Voice Network. What the lion fought for do? Scorch them. Roast and parch them.
I will never stop, hail the Most High, and I will never stop, call Rastafari. Blessed love, this is Kushite representing for the Lion's Voice. We are here to tell our own story, Rastafari.
Empress Menen, and a young scientist. Your role universally unfold. Be told. Blessed love, this is Itege Idama, and it's time for the lioness and the lion's voices to be heard. This is the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yo, blazing fire, yeah man, this is Racindio out of Belize, and the time has come for the lions to tell our own story, right? Yeah man, we blaze fire, burning the wicked and the dirty vampire. Yeah man, Racindio said that, blazing fire, lion boy.
The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Rastafari.
Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to the lion voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Oh, yeah, the lion's voice. Raw.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice.